red and white Miss Budweiser will have Jim Cropfeld in the driver's seat. Also out on the course will be Ron Snyder in Boss Marine Sports, the Sundeck boat. And the U7 Paddock Pools, Jerry Hopp. Rounding out the field locally, Todd Yarling, a local driver, Miss Risley. It all Just some of the big plans coming your way in 1990 on the Unlimited Hydroplane circuit. This is the last race of
drivers are being strapped in their boats. Mark Tate getting set in the Smokin' Joes as we're getting ready for Heat 1A. Racing all set to start. The T-Plus as well getting ready to go. And now we turn it over to our man who's going to call the races for you here today. An expert in the sport, has been for a long time, and we've been lucky to have him over the years here as we've been covering the sport of hydroplane racing. Mike Fitzsimmons with the drivers, the boats, and the call of the race. Michael?
Thank you, Steve. Texaco Heat 1A is brought to you by your Northwest Ford dealers, home of the Ford Taurus, the best-selling car in America. Seafair thanks Exide Nautilus batteries, standard of excellence. Now let's take a look at the combatants. We got the 4 hot dogs going right away here in Heat 1A, and this should be very, very exciting. The 4 fastest qualifiers picked for the very first heat of the day. That's a little unusual. You don't often see that. And we have first up in lane number 2, it's going to be, lane number 1 rather, it's going to be Mark Tate, and he's driving Steve Wilmer's Smokin' Joes, the former Winston Eagle, the boat that went upside down here last year in that final heat. That's the same boat. They won the Gold Cup this year. They're a strong racing boat indeed. In lane number 2, the outside will be the Miss Budweiser. Chip Hanauer is working on an all-time record for this particular boat. It could become the only boat ever to win 25 victories. This Miss Budweiser, 1987 boat, running little, of course, needs no introduction. This guy's done it all. This is a great race boat. Underfunded. Everybody said it couldn't be done, but Fred Leland and Dave Vilwalk have put together an incredibly strong racing team. They don't have a lot of depth of equipment, but this boat, the Performance Mortgage Sunset Chev, could very well win the American Dream today. These fellows have got a different kind of a hull design. We'll talk about that, but Steve and David has been driving it faster and faster all week, and Jim Harvey, the owner of the T-Plus engine treatment with Teflon, is ready to go racing here, thinks this may be his day in the sunshine here in Seattle. They're home for it. And Mark Evans, who you just saw out there driving in one of the antique race boats, now climbs into one of the antique Davers. Miss Exide, back after 29 years on Lake Washington. And of course, Rob Thompson, who is the representative owner for the Exide Racing Organization. This racing team bringing back a lot of nostalgia, a lot of history, and they're the ones that fly the Detroit Yacht Club flag.
And local man Bill Brow, fine driver from our area, who drove that boat way back when.
Members of the Brow family working on the boat now. Jack and Doug working on the Exide race boat even as we speak. So a lot of tradition, a lot of history wrapped up in that racing team from Detroit, Michigan. A 2-boat team. Their 2-wing boat hasn't proved to be race-worthy quite yet. And you were asking the question a little bit earlier, Steve, do we have the race helicopter back in time? Well, it turns out it is, but not necessarily that the race helicopter would have to have been back here, but it is. And we're inside the 5-minute flag range, the yellow flag period. This is the period in which the boats are to come out. Remember, in the old days when we saw these other race boats, these old shovel-nose race boats race, they worked with a clock and a countdown, and they could choose their own lanes, and they did a lot of dicing, and there was a tremendous amount of pre-start racing that went on. Here is not the case. We are utilizing the flag starts, Indianapolis style, if you will. The boats have to line up. Slowest qualifying boat in the class will be this one right here, because she comes in under the commissioner's option. This boat is Mike Jones's U7 racing team, the International News. They'll carry the outside and be the pace boat. And of course, Chip Hanauer has chosen lane number 2 to start from. International News have a little problem getting started here.
This boat just entered onto the circuit last week at Tri-Cities. Right. I know it was built to be a 4-engine automotive boat, and it is huge.
She's a 34-footer. The International News, of course, is Mike Jones. He has driven every single kind of racing boat there is, sanctioned by the American Powerboats, including the RC Unlimited.
It's a tremendous competitor.
This is a 34-foot racing boat, and he calls it affectionately, I should say, the Vessel.
I like that it's sponsored by Northwest Cargo, which is its size, it could do a great job in that work.
The bilge that it used to have before they put that turbine in there, it could carry as much as a 747. All right, the boats are beginning to bunch around. They're going to wait for Mike to get out there.
He is up and running.
And they're going to try to get him tucked in with that one as well. The boats will line up, of course, with the Smokin' Joe's on lane number 1, the Budweiser lane 2, the American Dream will shorten that Performance Mortgage Sunset Chev American Dream down to American Dream on occasion, especially when I get excited. The T-Plus engine treatment on the X-side, and then we'll try to position the International News on the outside, get the boats all lined up. Now, one thing we'll look for as they go through the north turn, or turn number 2, they're headed now down through the south turn, turn number 1. As they go through the north corner there up by the floating bridge, the lead boat, the outside pace boat, which is now circling the inside of the course, might have just stayed there, Michael, and they probably would have caught up to you, but in any event, he'll catch back up to them. The lead boat will be going through the turn there. You see Jim Lucero, the field general for the Smokin' Joe's organization.
The winningest crew chief of all time.
Yes, he is. Unquestionably, he is. They're waiting for Mike Jones now to catch up down from the south to the north. When they go through, he should carry an arc ahead of everybody else. And the inside boat, the Smokin' Joe's, will be against the buoy row and should be the last boat lagging back. Now, they might just go ahead and give these guys a start if Mike Jones can't catch up. So we're going to watch that flag waving on the tower.
This turning around on the race course, this is their 3rd lap around now, is going to make some tremendous rollers out there.
Especially now as we enter the north turn, it's going to be a problem because that's where the wind direction is coming out of the north and east at this moment. And that will be the area that we'll watch very carefully, and that'll be the time when the boats are actually at speed. They won't be at the highest possible speed.
They're going to bring them around one more time.
From the north to the south. Yes, they are. One more time around, and Mike is trying to catch up back there, lagging back about a half at a straightaway distance now, and he's going to try to catch up and bring them down. They're going to be able to make the start at about 130 miles an hour. There you see Mike on the upper left of your screen making his approach to the other guys. I think he'll catch up now. We'll get him in order now. The other thing is that the officials, Rick, want to give them a start as soon as they are in order. They don't want to go around one more time.
This water gets chewed up fast enough.
It does indeed, and it's already pretty choppy down there to begin with.
It looks like he's caught him on the outside now.
Yeah, so we'll look for Mike to kind of speed up and move up the outside then and establish a slight lead in the arc as they go through the upper turn. The fellow that will be able to see the flag on the inside, of course, is the Smokin' Joe's Mark Tate, and the guy on the outside who can see the flag from the start-finish line tower where we are, of course, will be Mike Jones. The other guys in the middle are going to have to key on the other fellas, and John Walters, as they come through the first corner, everybody but the guy in the first lane is going to have to determine where that turn is based on the guy inside of him.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The only disadvantage that Chip's got in the number 2 lane, even though that's a faster lane, is that if Mark Tate gets there first, he cannot see the buoy line because of all the water that's in the air. So you have to judge your turn based on what the boat ahead of you does, and that little bit of reaction time, you lose a boat length or so.
Okay, we've got an excellent arc coming through this corner. My thinking is they're going to drop the green just as soon as they can. We've got a couple of people out of position, maybe not.
Nope.
No, sir.
Bringing them around. Bringing them around.
It isn't going to happen. Going to send them around one more time. Mike was in good position, but we had a couple free goals. Now they do give him the green flag. Now we do have a green flag flying from the tower, and most of the boats had already gone by, so we are in a racing boat, and here they go down into the first corner, and in the 3 lane, it appears, coming out of the corner and not actually anticipating that they were racing. It looks like it's the Miss Exide that is leading them through. Let's see what happens here as they come up the back chute now. No, that's the American Dream leading them. In second place, the Budweiser. In third place, it is the Smokin' Joe's, and I think the drivers were confused as to the fact that they actually got a green flag start. But they're not confused anymore because everybody has screamed on the radio, "That's a go, that's a go," and they're off and running. And Dave Villwock, no surprise, even though this boat is a surprise to many for its speed, Dave Villwock is not a surprise to us. We've watched them on the circuit drive just very beautifully throughout the entire...
He's holding a very tight line.
Look at that, he has a very tight line. Budweiser's riding some water.
The boat's real free going down the back straightaway, guys. Keep an eye on that thing. Dave Villwock really has his hands full as this thing goes down into the wind.
End of lap number 1, Dave Villwock in the American Dream, in the Performance Mortgage Sunset Chev American Dream is your leader, and he has a pretty decent lead by about 5 or 6 boat lengths. On the inside, it's the Smokin' Joe's now beginning to reel him in a little bit. The Budweiser rode some water on the front chute and has lagged back considerably now. In third place overall, it's the Exide. Budweiser's having a problem out there and is flying through a lot of bad slop and now has been passed yet again. So up the back chute now, just as you say, yes, the American Dream is flying a little bit, but is being able to maintain its lane, and the speed advantage, however, in the corner is going to go to the Smokin' Joe's off the corner. This should be a very, very close lap as they come down to the start-finish line in lap number 2. T Plus in third place, Exide in fourth, Bud in fifth right now.
It appears that Smokin' Joe there with Mark Tate has got a little top end on David as he gets down to the boat again, getting real high in the air. And when he has to lift his foot off the throttle there just a little bit, that's just the advantage that Nate's looking for, or they're looking for in the Smokin' Joe to creep up there a little bit.
That time, however, it appears that the Smokin' Joe had to eat a lot of bad water out there and lost some distance through that corner, pounded around pretty viciously out there. But now Mark is putting his foot back in it, down the back chute. It is the Performance Mortgage Sunset Chevrolet. Here you see the Budweiser in an uncharacteristic 5th place right now. Very uncharacteristic from this Budweiser.
I'm sure that going that slow, you know, it's pretty obvious that they've got some sort of a problem. But the other thing to keep in mind, that Chip's really taking a pounding out there, having to run back in the rough water, and it really is lumpy out there. I'm sure that he's really feeling every one of those bumps right now.
Checkered flag is out for the Performance Mortgage Sunset Chev. Dave Villwock wins Heat 1A. Second place, the Smokin' Joe's. Third place, it'll be the T Plus. Oh, getting very, very light is Steve David as he crosses the line. Fourth place overall, Mark Evans in the Miss Exide. And bringing up fifth place, and obviously with some problems, it is the Miss Budweiser, and this is going to bode very poorly for Chip in terms of lane choices. It's going to put him outside and give him some very bad choices upcoming.
is supreme. To get your name on the Gold Cup is supreme in the minds of racers everywhere. This is the Detroit River, which the famous Bill Munsey once said, you don't beat it, you merely survive it. And 11 boats out there are going to try to do just that.
The big story in the off-season, and now that the 2006 season is underway, is that the Budweiser boats are back. Following retirement of the racing team after the 2004 season, 3 of the fastest boats in the history of the sport spent the entire 2005 season sitting in the Budweiser racing team's facility in South Seattle. Then came word that Kim Gregory of the USA Racing Partners in Las Vegas had purchased T3, one of those boats. It was off to Las Vegas for modifications and a nice new yellow paint job. It's here, ready to run, with J.W. Myers driving. Then an even bigger story. Mike Weber, team manager for Ted Porter, new owner of the FormulaBoats.com racing team from Decatur, Illinois, announced that his boss was buying him 2 new toys, T5 and T6. So those boats were moved from Seattle to that team shop in Illinois, and they are here now. Same familiar red paint job, new livery, and 3 of the fastest boats in the history of the sport are back with us.
Thank you, Steve Montgomery. Let's take a look at yesterday's action.
6 boats scheduled to go in Saturday's Heat 1A. Jimmy King, our fast qualifier, losing power before the start, as did Greg Hopp, J. Michael Kelly, and J.W. Myers. Only 2 boats answered the bell. The winner, Ken Muscatel, in the U2.25. Rookie Kevin Aylesworth picked up second-place points, and Jim Hendrick got a word with the winner.
Not too shabby first competition of the Gold Cup. You come out a winner, Ken.
I'm real happy. You have no idea. We've had a good year, but we had little things go wrong all along, and we got out there, got a good start, and other guys had trouble. But part of it is being prepared and being in position to win, and we were.
Heat 1B, all 5 boats entered, answered the gun. Steve David and the red, white, and green Oh Boy Oberto making a great start for the folks back in Madison, Indiana. But in the first lap, the leader was Mike Weber, the FormulaBoats.com. Giving chase, the yellow boat is the U37, Jean Theoret in the Beacon Plumbing, and you saw him strike a buoy right here in that treacherous rooster tail turn, moving him from second down to 5th place in points. After that, it was all Mike Weber, the veteran, bringing his FormulaBoats.com home in first place, 400 points.
Well, that wasn't too shabby. A 1-2 punch, you and your teammate.
No, it was getting kind of rough out there, so we weren't running any harder than we had to, but I knew Mike was out there, and I knew he was charging, but that was my first win ever in a Gold Cup heat, so I couldn't be more excited for Formula Boats and all our sponsors.
Gold Cup means a lot to a young driver.
It means a lot to anybody that's ever driven a race boat in their whole life. This is it. That's what you strive for in your career, to be in the Gold Cup and have a chance to win, and this is my first legitimate chance. We're going to make the best of it.
Heat 2A, rookie drivers David Williams and Kevin Aylesworth starting behind the field. That meant Jean Theoret, Mike Weber, and J.W. Myers would be up front, as they are right here. The early leader, Jean Theoret, problems for Mike Weber as he hooked his boat at the start. Then there would be problems for Theoret. He was told he had jumped the gun and was not the leader. He was indeed running in 5th place. The leader then, J.W. Myers, driving the U10 Miss Al DB Dodge, and he would cruise to an easy first place and 400 points in Heat 2A. Second and third place going to the rookies, Williams and Aylesworth. Heat 2B, the early leader, Jimmy King, and the piston-powered Miss Chrysler Jeep, the red boat on the inside, that's Greg Hopp in the blue boat. The backup Miss Elam Plus, the white boat, that's Nate Brown giving chase, but it was all piston power as the race became one for second place. Greg Hopp, Nate Brown, and Mike Allen racing for second, as it was all Jimmy King out front with piston power, the winner of Heat 2B.
And now, after one day's action, here are our leaders. Ken Muscatel's Michigan Mortgage leads the fleet. Surprisingly, 2 of the favorites, Beacon Plumbing and Miss Elam Plus, are 8th and 9th. And that brings us to today's final action with 4 preliminary heats and the winner-take-all final. A great crowd on hand here in Detroit, Michigan, as the boats go out to compete.
FSN coverage of the American Boat Racing Association Enviroply Championship Series for unlimited hydroplanes is brought to you by Enviroply multi-panel interior and exterior building supplies. naturally superior. And by Oh Boy Oberto Beef Jerky. Taste what's real. It better be Oberto.
This game, you're not ready for.
Welcome back to Detroit. I'm Jim Hendrick along with Steve Montgomery. And Steve, there's always a lot of activity around our course.
A huge crowd on hand for the granddaddy of all boat races. A lot of history, a lot of tradition here. Some fans will go home looking a little better than they did when they came. And some arrived looking pretty good. Let's take a look inside the sport with our EnviroPly insider, Steve David.
The Detroit Gold Cup is like the granddaddy of all races for us. Our Gold Cup is our Daytona 500, our Indy 500. That's the one that you really want to win. It's a challenging race course. It has the biggest turn on the circuit down at the Belle Isle area and a tight little turn out the Rooster Tail turn. Speeds are very high. They're well over 200, and the water is probably the roughest that we run in.
And now we're set to go with today's first preliminary heat, Heat 3A. And here are the combatants. Miss Chrysler Jeep, Miss DYC lead the way as they come down the back chute. They're going to line up 5 boats in all, Steve. This could be a very exciting heat.
Jean Theoret has the U-37, the yellow boat in lane 1. It gets tight in there in lane 2 for Mike Allen in the Formula boats. Now Jimmy King, we're on board. He's in lane 3. Off to his right, that's J.W. Myers in the U-10 in the blue boat. Way out to his right is Greg Hopp. Jimmy now approaching start finish. He wants to get there just as the clock ticks down to 0-0 to make a legal start. Here they come now. Theoret not in the picture. He got in trouble on the inside. The leader was Mike Allen in the FormulaBoats.com. Jimmy King right next to him. Then J.W. Myers and Greg Hopp on the outside in the blue boat. They come into that big sweeping Belle Isle turn. Allen with the advantage on the inside, but Jimmy King has tremendous boat speed with that piston-powered U-3. Here they are at the apex of the turn. Mike Allen, the early leader, Jim.
Yes, he is, and that beautiful shot from the Belle Isle Bridge camera shows how that big sweeping turn, they don't even take their foot off of the accelerator. They keep it right down to the floorboard.
Look at this boat race on the backstretch. They come by the Yacht Club for the first time, and it's a 3-boat race. It's Mike Allen on the inside, the FormulaBoats.com. Then Jimmy King, Miss Chrysler Jeep, and Jimmy's going to pull right up next to him as they turn left for this treacherous Rooster Tail turn. Now watch this action. King's boat skips out just a little bit. Allen has the advantage on the inside, and it's Mike Allen. The FormulaBoats.com. We're on board with Jimmy King now giving chase. Mike Allen is off to his left as they come down to finish lap 1. The leader is Mike Allen, the FormulaBoats.com.
A Turbine leads on the inside, but right beside him, giving him a battle all the way, sponson to sponson, is a reciprocating engine boat. It is an Allison turbocharged, and Jimmy King from Michigan, in his hometown race, is giving them a challenge.
J.W. Myers also in the hunt. You saw the yellow boat running on the outside. We're back on board with Jimmy King. This driver taking this boat up near 200 miles per hour now, as again, he chases Mike Allen up the backstretch. Allen has the advantage, the short race course on the inside, but it's not always an advantage in this turn. Very, very hard for the driver to take his boat up over 200 miles per hour and then handle the turn that's coming up right here.
This is a very tight turn, and the Detroit River splits around the island and gives them some rollers and currents. We've had accidents in this corner, so they have to be careful. Now they're going down to complete lap number 2.
Jimmy King doing a marvelous job of tipping the piston boat right on the hip of Mike Allen. Any kind of a bobble aboard the FormulaBoats.com, and Jimmy King is going to take the lead. And remember, he's doing it with an old World War II piston engine, giving this turbine boat a run for the money. Look at this boat race, Jim.
Yes, it's a great race on a very rough course. That water comes off the seawalls, and every time they come around, it's a different turn. A roller here, a hole here. It's dangerous, but now, as they come down the back chute, this is the smoothest part of the course.
The left side of your picture, you see the spray off a sponsor of Mike Allen's boat, the FormulaBoats.com team. Racing here with sponsorship from Dick Scott Automotive and the Detroit Yacht Club, which is going by right now. Mike Allen opening up some water, and now he has a nice lead. Setting up for the Rooster Tail turn. Jimmy King back in the spray. There he is. back, almost a rooster tail. And now Mike Allen has finally opened up some water on that piston-powered U3 Miss Chrysler Jeep. The white flag flies, Jim. 1 lap to go for Mike Allen.
And we're inside once again, Jimmy King's U3, and he's coming along the shoreline of Detroit, coming into that big Belle Isle turn. But the leader right here is the Miss DYC out of the Formula One team, and he's showing them the short way around the course. 400 points await this man.
On to the backstretch for the final time is Mike Allen. A very, very close boat race for a couple of laps, and now turbine power has reigned supreme here. You see the boat flying just a bit. That's at 200 miles per hour. Allen using that front wing to keep it under control, and now he's going to come down the front straightaway, take the checkered flag, and pick up 400 points for a great run. The rookie driver doing a sensational job for the FormulaBoats.com team, racing here for the Detroit Yacht Club and Dick Scott Automotive. Second place, Jim, will go to Jimmy King. We're on board with Jimmy now as he finishes with piston power, picking up 300 points. So the 2 red boats giving us a great race here.
And the fans.
They'll be on the water. You see Steve David and the Old Boy Oberto, one of the competitors here in Heat 3B. It's up next. Stay with us.
I'm Jim Hendrick, along with Steve Montgomery. Welcome back to Detroit, Michigan for the Chrysler Jeep Superstars APBA Gold Cup. Steve, hot food on the grill, courtesy of the Detroit Fire Department, and hot racing on the Detroit River.
Here is the field for Heat 3B. Nate Brown in the backup, Miss Elam Plus, subbing for Dave Vilwalk. Then Ken Muscatel, Mike Weber, Steve David, and rookie Kevin Aylesworth.
They're coming around now as the clock goes down to 0. They have a 5-minute clock, a 1-minute clock, and the starting gun. Any one of these boats go across that imaginary line at the start, they have not officially began the race. They get a 1-lap penalty. They don't count till they come around the next time.
Interesting milling here on the backstretch. This is before the start. That's Mike Weber on the inside. His FormulaBoats.com racing here for the Detroit Yacht Club. We're on board with Steve David, who was back a ways behind the field, and he is pulling up now to take a place in line, hoping there's a spot for him. Ken Muscatel going by on his left. They are into the Rooster Tail turn, and you see the blue roof of the Rooster Tail restaurant right there. That's where this turn gets its name. Now they swing down toward start-finish. Kevin Aylesworth swinging wide. You saw Nate Brown in the white boat coming up to take a spot there. This is Mike Weber. He's going to lead him across the start line. Oh, he was close. He may have been early, Jim.
Not sure, but that gun went off. But the official mark is the actual closing of the clock as they go down to turn number 1 for the first of 4 times. They head for that wide turn at the Belle Isle Bridge, and it's still Old Boy Oberto on the inside.
Mike Weber in lane 2, this big turn allowing him to keep the boat speed up. Steve David is right there in the Old Boy Oberto as they turn onto the backstretch, and you saw Nate Brown in the white boat. He's running in 3rd place. You can see his Rooster Tail now as they head for the Yacht Club. Look at the blue smoke on the race course, and now we receive word that Mike Weber in the FormulaBoats.com racing for the DYC is not in 1st place. He jumped the gun. It was not a legal start. Steve David is your leader, Jim, the red, white, and green Old Boy Oberto.
And blue smoke is coming off of the Old Boy Oberto, Steve, and I'm not sure where it's coming from, but it's putting up a smoky haze. And look at the visibility gets really lowered on that part of the course.
Front straightaway has a big blue cloud hanging on it. We understand the smoke is coming off the lead boat, the Old Boy Oberto. Oil or fuel getting onto something hot. You can see out the front window of the Oberto. That is Mike Weber, who knows by now that he is not leading this race. His radio man will tell him, you jumped the gun, you're back a lap. He will try to stay out of the way, but Steve David is giving the Oberto a great ride, Jim, here in 2nd place on the water. 1st place officially. We have to hope the blue smoke is not anything terminal, and he can finish this heat.
That's right. He has to complete 4 laps in this Heat 3B, which is the 2nd round of action here on the Detroit River today. And likewise, this man, Steve David, has radio connections to his crew, and he knows he's in first place. He's not going to press it.
He probably also knows he's smoking. They will tell him by now there's some blue smoke coming off your boat. You saw Mike Weber slowing down a little bit. He has probably received word that he is not leading after jumping the gun.
The Miss Elam Plus with Nate Brown is currently second. Ken Muscatel in the Michigan Mortgage Consultants is currently third officially. Lucky 21 with the rookie Kevin Ellsworth is now in fourth place.
Tough break for Mike Weber, the veteran, the team manager of the FormulaBoats.com team. At a football field per second, he got his nose to the line just a little too early. This is our leader, Steve David, out of Lighthouse Point, Florida, into the Belle Isle turn. Mike Weber still running on the race course off to his right, and in fact running pretty hard now as they come onto the backstretch and into that blue cloud, Jim. Believe me, they can see better than we can.
The old boy Oberto's not putting off smoke now, but for a couple of laps, something was burning oil-wise. It has to be with that blue hue.
Did not appear to affect the performance of the boat. It has run well throughout the heat. Mike Weber still racing pretty hard now as he comes into the Rooster Tail turn. Steve David doing a nice job on the inside. It's not easy to hold your boat in lane one through that turn. On board one more time with Steve David. Into the clouds, the blue smoke, the spray on the front straightaway, limited visibility at a very, very high speed, but the veteran driver doing a great job in the boat that's owned by the community of Madison, Indiana, kind of like the Green Bay Packers of unlimited hydroplane racing.
A good comparison. Now, down the back chute for the final time with the checkered flag waiting here on the Detroit River in the Chrysler Jeep APBA Gold Cup 2006.
You saw the importance of the start here. It is so important that a driver have a good lane and make a good start, get to start-finish right on time. Mike Weber just a tick too quick. And Steve David right on time. He's going to come down and take the checkered flag now. He's on the front straightaway. The checkered flag will fly, and this will be a very popular heat victory for one of the veterans in unlimited hydroplane racing. Steve David takes the old boy Oberto across the start-finish line in first place. He's
All right, that's your 5. All right, that's your 5-minute gun, and now it's time to go boat racing. Here's We Have Racing in H1, presented by Seafair and presented by Graham Trucking. In the 1, in the baby blue, Miss Home Street, Jimmy Shane. In that bright yellow, Reliable Diamond Tool, J&D, Tom Thompson. And in number 11, the 99.9 Car Star, powered by KISW Rock, is the young gun rookie Aaron Salmon. In the 1918 is the Alberto of Cal Phipps. Seafair thanks Albert Lee Appliance, proud sponsor of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup. The start of Heat 1A is just a few minutes away. Seafair reminds you that for your safety and the safety of those around you, everyone must be out of the water when the hydroplanes are on the Ted Jones race course. Now it's time to get ready on the water and enjoy the world's fastest race boats. Heat 1A presented by Seafair and Graham Trucking. Now, let's do the play-by-play, Brad Luce.
Thank you very much, Kay Brewer. 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Comes around the point that we so affectionately referred to 30, 40, 50 years ago, Quillshaft Lagoon. That was when we ran the Merlin power, but now it's turbine power. All 4 of our turbine-powered hydroplanes are on the water. Shane, Thompson, Salmon, and Phipps. Now comes the race before the race. And I make this comment a lot, as we talked about earlier. This is Heat 1A. You can't win the Albert Lee Appliance Cup, Seafair Cup right now in this heat. You could certainly lose it. You don't want to do something stupid now. You want to get points.
Exactly. Why you're saying that is because they have to have a certain amount of points to make it into the final, which we will be watching tomorrow afternoon. But today, we are watching Heat 1A as Jimmy Shane goes into turn number 1 with that baby blue brand new Home Street boat.
Yeah, we talk about you don't want to do something stupid here. You just want to get points. But that blue boat halfway up the backstretch, Jimmy Shane wants to win this. He is in a battle with Andrew Tate for national.
Cut GP. Cut GP.
Is on the water. So our boats are spread out around. Now, here's our first course cutter. Jimmy Shane coming across the race course. You notice, Kay, he's coming across from the back stretch to the front stretch, but he did that up at the top end of the race course. That's a legal maneuver.
Exactly, and these, if you watched our qualifying earlier and our testing earlier, you would have seen him do that same move. They were out there making their game plans, and we are going to see Tom Thompson follow right behind him in that Reliable Tool and J&Ds of the number U11. And check out what Cal Phipps is doing in that Alberto. He might be taking a little bit of a different game plan. These guys are going... Game plan A was taking lap or lane 1. Who do you think's going to get it, Brad?
We're about to find out here. Even Aaron Salmon gets into the mix a little bit. He will cut the race course at the top end. So far, nobody's gone all the way up to the north turn. The exception, I think Shane's going to go all the way up there this time. 150 to the start. No score.
Hard. I think Tommy's going to try and cut. Go hard. We're good on time. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard.
However, the boats must maintain at minimum 80 miles an hour on the race course. There are strobe lights right above the top of the air scoop. If that light comes on, look at the 2 boats cut the course now to come in behind Jimmy Shane. Look for Shane to park the blue boat in lane number 1. 120 and counting, Kay.
Look what Cal Phipps is coming on hot on the outside, so he might try and take it.
Got a warning on the 99.
He must go all the way around, and he must give that 7 boat lengths before he comes over and tries to take lane number 1. But that boat is beautiful, riding in there. Tom Thompson stuck in the middle. He might get wet, and he does. Tom Thompson takes a bath.
For inside 1 minute, he is way up the backstretch, and he is having to slow way down. And we've lost the 11 now. Tom Thompson has fallen off a plane down here in the lower corner.
He got hosed down. He was stuck in between Shane and Cal, and he got hosed down, put out the fire. We saw it last weekend on the final heat, but he's able to get it started. You can see some smoke coming out of the back. He's trying to get it lit up and get back up. He has still 30 seconds to light that thing up and bring it around. Right now, he's not in the best position sitting in lap. He's in lane at least 3 out there in the first turn, not someplace you want to be.
Yeah, he needs to get out of there, or they may red flag this heat, but he's got it up and running now. He needs to be on a plane and get out of that corner. Meanwhile, we're 5th. It is going to be Cal Phipps in 2. It is going to be Shane in 1. And we are 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark, we are racing here in Heat 1A, presented by Graham Trucking. Phipps in the 1918 Alberto. He's going to get down to the corner first, but he's got a lot of speed off to his left with Jimmy Shane.
And he floated it into that lane, and look at who's coming out in the lead. It's going to be the Home Street boat, but I would not let go of that Alberto. They've had some issues.
He's down. He is down, the Alberto.
They had issues earlier, but it looks like he's going to have some more issues. Those gremlins are fighting over that Alberto, and Home Street looks to be walking away with the lead, but things could happen because look at Cal's lighting it up and heading back out onto the water, but coming out of turn number 2 is going to be your baby blue Home Street boat.
Here comes Jimmy Shane off the top of the race course. This one is all his right now. He's just got to find clean water. He's got Nick Bonancini talking to him on the radio, telling him what's going on the race course and where he's going to get his best line through here. But he's got to keep the candle lit because Aaron Salmon is coming down in second place. I don't see Salmon making a run at him, but still Shane's got to run 2 more laps. Lower corner, lap number 2, Kay.
It is, and Aaron Salmon is our 2018 rookie driver. This is only his 3rd race, but he's doing wonderful in that 99.9. And we've got number 3 is going to be Cal Phipps and the Alberto. Just got word that, yes, it was a good start. Down the back stretch, it's going to be the U1 of the Home Street boat, Jimmy Shane, coming into turn number 2, Brad.
Top end of the race course, Jimmy Shane. Now our 2 boats that drop down, the Alberto and the 11. The Reliable Diamond Tool presents J&D. They are both up and running, and I think they are both on the same lap. And so I think we've got the Reliable Diamond Tool trying to run down the Alberto, but it's going to be a tall order. Meanwhile, here comes Jimmy Shane to put 2 in the book. The start was good. He'll pick up a white flag. That means 1 more to go. And this is going to be an easy heat, about as easy as you're going to get one here at the 2018 Albert Lee Appliance Cup at Seafair. Jimmy's just got to keep the candle lit, Kay.
He does, and this is a brand new boat, hot out of the box. First heat ever being ran by the H1, or the H1 of the Home Street boat. This is their first time. In second place, it's going to be Aaron Salmon. And in third place in the Alberto, 1918, Cal Phipps. And in fourth, we got Reliable Tool. They are trying to chase down Cal Phipps. Only got about 3/4 of a lap. And your leader going down into turn number 2 for the last time of Heat 1A in the Home Street, Brad.
Jimmy Shane, top end of the race course. He is to the apex. He is to the exit pin. Slides out to about lane number 2. And he will come down and take first place. He'll pick up 400 points here. Mission on this heat, get a win, get 400. Check the box. Mission has been accomplished. The boat now wins its first heat of competition. Second place appears to go to Aaron Salmon. He picks up a checkered flag. Now we got to watch the flags a little bit. And it appears that we are getting a checkered flag also for the Alberto. He will come down, and a checkered flag is remaining for Tom Thompson. So it looks like, despite boats going off plane, going dead in the water, getting too early up the backstretch, we're going to have 4 boats start, Kay, and 4 boats finish.
It was a good run for the Home Street. You know, they wanted that first win. This, like I said, this is their first actual physical running heat with that brand new boat, and that was a great heat that he had. We're going to have to watch some of these turns to see exactly what happened to Tom Thompson before the race to see if there was anything. But like you said, we're going to check the box, Brad.
Seconds to the 5-minute mark. You're going to see the lids are going to start dropping, and that's when the crews are going to jump off the boat, go over off of the dock. Pretty soon, we're going to use these boats. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark 5-minute crew. There we go. Once again, folks, that's your 5-minute gun, and now it's time to go racing. Here is the will be Heat 1B, presented by Seafair and Graham Trucking. In the number 9, your high-point leader, Andrew Tate, is the left squad fired. In that bright red coat, Graham Trucking, ready. Michael Kelly. In the 21, Pink West Insurance, Brian Perkins. In that bright orange, the Lobos Express, the Bucket List Racing 440, Dustin Echols. Seafair takes Hourly Appliance, proud sponsor of the Hourly Appliance Fever Cup. The start of Heat 1B is just underway in a few minutes. Seafair reminds you that for your safety and the safety around you, everyone must get out of the water while the high schools are on the Ted Jones race course. Now, it's time to get out of the water and enjoy some of the world's fastest race boats as we go on to Heat 1B, presented by Seafair Graham Trucking, Brad Booth.
Thank you very much, Gabe. We're 3 minutes and 50 seconds from the start of our Heat 1B, presented by Graham Trucking. All 4 of our race boats are out on the water. And I'm hoping we get a little bit better start sequence than we did on the last one, Kay. That one, as you know, that was one that we called kind of ragged.
It was, but there were some issues over here at turn number 2. These drivers are all doing their maneuvers, and we're seeing an early cut-in. It looks to be like Brian Perkins, first one to cut across the course.
Yeah, Brian comes from front to back. That's the first time we've seen that. These are all those timing runs we talked about this morning and over the weekend. They want to be at a certain spot on the race course at a certain point in time. That doesn't mean just 15 seconds before the start. Oh, yeah, they want to do that. But they've also got a 2-minute mark, a 3-minute mark, and that 3-minute mark is where they want to be in about 4 seconds, because we're coming up to 3 minutes right now, mark.
3 minutes to the start of Heat 1B. It's going to be interesting because we've got a couple fast boats out there. J. Michael Kelly is only his 2nd race of the year, but he's trying to chase down points from Andrew Tate, your current leader in national high points. Brian Perkins, they were having some issues. They had some boat problems last year, boat damage, got it fixed, brought it back out here for Seafair 2018.
And everybody cut the north end of the race course off that time. Keep an eye on Kelly here. He would have, if he wanted to jump to the backstretch right now, he'd have an opportunity. Yeah, there he goes. He's going to jump over there and get in front of everybody. Well, you could see that one coming. Everybody was going to the lower corner. Now, we've still got a long way to go. We're 2:20 till the start.
There is a lot of things that are going to happen between there. We talked about lead changes, but this is what you call the race before the race. There's a lot of things that are going to happen. We are 2 minutes away from the start of Heat 1B.
Yeah, they're going to have to go all the way up to the top end of the race course. It's going to be tough to get the lane swap right now. 2 minutes. 2 minutes to the start of our Heat 1B, presented by Graham Trucking for Seafair.
And coming around turn number 2, and that bright orange 440 going to lead them back up their front stretch. And it looks like J. Michael Kelly taking his signature move over lane number 1.
Yeah, he's going to come down here in lane number 1. Still got a lot of time here. There's 1:35 until the start. So I really like their position right now. But I believe the 2 white boats, it's difficult for me to pick it on the back, but I believe that is Brian Perkins that is coming down here. It is. It's Perkins that is right next to J. Michael Kelly. And so they're going to come all the way down, which means if Perkins is going to stay tight on the hip of JMK, that is going to put Mr. Tate in lane 3, because we know it's going to be on far outside. Which means Tater's going to have to come around this One minute. We are at 1 minute, and the boats will start up the backstretch. It is Kelly in 1. It is Perkins in 2. We are going to assume that Tate will squeeze the U9 into lane number 3. I don't think Perkins is going to leave the door open and allow Tate to get into lane 2, and I'm sure Kelly is not going to let Tater into lane 1.
No, he's known for taking lane number 1, but we know Andrew Tate, he's about to try. He is your leader, but Andrew Tate, coming back from the back of the pad, I have a feeling we have a game plan going on, because look at the 3 boats in the lead. I'm not sure where he thinks he's going to squeeze in there.
Oh, he's going to get into lane 3. There's going to be room there. But the guys ahead of him are early. There's still 20 seconds. And so he's going to sit back there and slingshot it now. Look at the rooster tail coming up on the 9. Andrew Tate is able to put his foot down before the other guys because he's further away from the starting line. We're 10 seconds until the start. Going to be a good-looking 4-boat start coming down. We are 5, 3, 2, 1. Mark, and we are racing here in Heat 1B, presented by Graham Trucking, and it's going to be Brian Perkins getting out here. He's got Tate right with him, and on the inside, it's J. Michael Kelly driving at 12, the Graham Trucking Tate.
I don't know, J. Michael Kelly may not have much room, but here he comes. He's going to be your leader out of turn number 1. There is a great fight in that second place position. You can't see it behind the rooster tail of your leader, J. Michael Kelly, the Graham Trucking. First and second base. First place, J. Michael Kelly will bring them around turn number 2 because I can't see them. Over 200 miles an hour, they're going into turn number 2, Brad.
It was a good start. In second place on the outside, that is the 9. That is the Les Schwab with Andrew Tate. Perkins has fallen back a little bit. There's Tate. He is on the outside. It's Kelly the leader. As they come off the top end of the race course, they'll put down 1 point in the book. It is J. Michael Kelly in 1. It is Andrew Tate, and they are literally tied together. Tate started to fly them out, and the police put down. This is as good as it gets. Kelly's staying there here first. Tate is 2 lengths back.
These two have been driving side by side for quite a few years, and we know J. Michael Kelly's able to hold on that inside lane, but Andrew Tate, as you said, was walking down the backstretch, and he lost a lot of ground. I'm not sure what happened behind the rooster tail of J. Michael Kelly turn number 2, but look at J. Michael Kelly just walking away with the lead, going into turn number 2, Brad.
Yeah, this is not over. Don't you count out Andrew Tate just yet. But JMK, holy cow, they came out here and ran really hard this morning. It was indicative of a very good boat ride in some rough water. Here comes JMK. He's going to come down. Look to his right. He'll see the white flag. 1 to go. And he's got a rooster tail on Andrew Tate. Now watch Kelly fly the boat. He loves to put a lot of air under it. And he's got it right now. JMK is in control. So he gets what's going to corner. Got almost a rooster tail and a half.
All over Andrew Tate, and like you said, he looked over and saw that white flag as well and said, I got 1 lap to get J. Michael Kelly, and he's going to bring it down. It looks like Andrew Tate seems to be having a turn number 2 issues once again. He is not floating it like he did down the front stretch. But J. Michael Kelly, he is roaring down that back stretch. He's only got a half a lap to go. The checkered flag will come out, and that big grin of J. Michael Kelly is about ready to shine.
Entrance pin at the top end of the race course. There's the apex buoy. All he's got to do is come off the exit pin right there, slide down to about lane number 2. He will come down. Checkered flag flies. J. Michael Kelly. He will come down and claim first place in our Heat 1B. Sponsored by Graham Trucking. And the folks from Graham Trucking at the sponsors tent over here to our right go crazy. I wouldn't have guessed he would have been able to walk away from Andrew like that, but he did. Here comes Brian Perkins. He was in the thick of it for a few laps, or at least 1 lap, and then on the second lap he began to fade, but Perkins will come around and pick up 3rd place in the 21. Darryl Strong presents Payne West Insurance and bring Dustin Eccles around again. The kid is going to be consistent. He's going to pick up points and finish. We said how critical that was.
It is, and I talked to Dustin Eccles earlier, and he said, you were Boat of the Year, voted in by H1 and by all of the peers. This is your 440 Boat of the Year 2017. Each year they're getting faster and faster, but my goodness, Heat 1B, that was a nail biter, Brad.
I just want to ask the question of the fans here that have maybe not seen this before. That first Heat was not representative of how H1 Unlimited Racing is supposed to go. That's much more what a race is supposed to look like. And oh, by the way, how important is the inside lane?
It is.
All the way through the championship final of the Albert Lee Appliance Cup, and hopefully we'll stick around for the trophy presentation. We'll hear some hydro history from the Hydroplane and Raceboat Museum. We'll hear some Seafair flashbacks today from Steve Montgomery. And, of course, we've got all of your favorite Kixie summertime music to play our hits between the heats. And the racing is going to get going very quickly this morning with heats 2A and 2B. And they're coming up momentarily. Heat 2A coming up. And he's such a good, crafty driver. He'll no doubt fight So in about 30 seconds, we're going to toss it with the 5-minute gun. So that is our lineup. The Les Schwab, the Graham Trucking, the Oberto, and the Reliable Tools J&D's hydraulics. And we'll give the...
And can't stress enough that even beyond the H1 racing, we've got a ton of great programming. So keep your dial on 880 AM KXE all day long for this wonderful summertime event.
And we are getting ready for the 5-minute gun. Now with the call, Brad Luce and Kay Brewer.
Race fans, is your 5 minutes gone, and it's now time to go racing. Here's who will be racing in Heat 2A, presented by Seafair by Graham Trucking. In the 9, in Jones Racing, is Andrew Tate. In the 11, Reliable Diamond Tool presents J&D's Tom Thompson. And in that over bright red, Graham Trucking of the number 12, J. Michael Kelly. And in that flashy Oberto boat 1918, Cal Phipps. Seafair thanks Albert Lee Appliance, proud sponsor of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup. To start, Heat 2A is going to happen in just a few minutes. Seafair reminds you that for your safety and the safety around you, everyone must be out of the water from the hydros during the Ted Jones race course. Now, it is time to get on the water and enjoy the world's fastest race boats. Heat 2A, presented by Seafair and Graham Trucking. Brad Luce.
Thank you very much, Kay Brewer. We are 3 minutes and 50 seconds to the start of our Heat 2A. Now coming up on 3:45. We have 4 boats slated to go in this heat. Kay just ran them down. The 9, the 11, the 12, the 1918. Andrew Tate, Tom Thompson, J. Michael Kelly, and Cal Phipps. If you have never seen a heat of unlimited hydroplane racing, we will do our best to tell you what is going on. And what is going on right now is what we call the milling period, sometimes referred to as the race before the race, and a whole lot can happen during this particular period as we see Tom Thompson in the brightly colored Chartreuse and Carnival Orange U11, and Andrew Tate both cutting across the race course. They're going to jump over to the backstretch. That is a legal maneuver, Kay. They can jump from the front to the back on the front straightaway. They can come from the backstretch to the front stretch up at the top end of the race course.
And J. Michael Kelly opts to go all the way down to turn number 1, and he goes way, way wide. But you're going to see those white outside course markers. He must keep those course markers on his right side, and he got pretty close to all of them. But each one of these drivers heads out onto the course with one plan, and they want to stick to that plan A. But if something happens and another driver comes in onto their lane that they wanted to choose, they have to go to plan B.
Well, yesterday we had J. Michael Kelly paired up against Andrew Tate, and we saw it coming about 15 seconds before it happened, but J. Michael Kelly made a whale of a move to steal the inside away from Andrew, and there's a little bit of a cat and mouse game going on right now between J. Michael Kelly at the top end of the race course and Andrew Tate, who wanted to make sure he gave his boat a squirt down here in the lower end of the race course, so Cal Phipps was unable to cut the course and get in front of him. Instead, Cal cut the course and found himself behind Andrew Tate. Now coming inside, just inside 2 minutes of the start, and J. Michael Kelly was going to make the corner, and then he realized, I think, where they were on the clock, and he moved all the way out to the outside of the race course. J. Michael Kelly is doing everything he can right now to scruff off time. He's going back and forth from an inside lane to an outside lane. Now here he comes to an outside lane. Oh, I have never seen this happen. Now he's going to have to hurry a little bit and get back, see if he doesn't go to the inside. I mentioned a lot can happen. I have never seen that one done before, and he's just and he's still doing it because he's got a minute and 18 seconds.
We need all of our drivers to clear the beach.
So now Kelly, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. 1 minute. 1 minute. So J. Michael Kelly, I have never seen that particular maneuver, and boy, have we got a messed up front straightaway here. But up the backstretch, we have J. Michael Kelly sitting in lane number 1. Where is Tate going to stick the 9? He is the 4th boat going up the backstretch right now. Does he have a lane, or is he going to have to move outside of Tom Thompson? Kay Brewer, we are coming up on 30 seconds. This is an incredibly strange score-up.
This was definitely something I have never seen before, but as we're lining up going into turn number 2, this is something we see all the time. J. Michael Kelly has got lane number 1. Right on his outside hip is going to be Cal Phipps. Bringing up the rear is going to be Andrew Tate. He is going to come from a slingshot move, I can guarantee it.
If he can get a lane to put it in, and he's going to put it into lane number 3. He's going to come down to the start, and we're 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. And it's going to be Tom Thompson on the outside. He's going to come rolling down here in the 11. He's going to get down here first, but he's got a lot of speed up to his left. Kelly trails the field on the inside, Kay.
He's going to come around on the inside lane, but Tom Thompson nailed that start. But your leader coming out of turn number 1 of lap number 1 of 3 is going to be Cal Phipps in that 1918. But challenge start on the outside is going to be that young gun of Andrew Tate in the Jones Racing. Brad Luce, check them coming out all side by side into turn number 2.
Boy, coming out of the lower corner down here it was Andrew Tate in lane number 3. The start was clean. They're going to fan out here. 1, 2, 3. Got to get really close. Oh, boy, Phipps held Kelly in tight. Meanwhile, Tate kept the RPM up. He's going to come down. He is in first place, but he's still running in lane 3. Do not count out Mr. Thompson on the outside. Tate flying the 9 as he gets down here to the lower corner, but he's still got Kelly on the inside, Kate.
J. Michael Kelly must be up in the top 2 positions to make it into the final. That is why he is pushing it to the max. But Andrew Tate is just dancing it down the backstretch, giving that logboom quite a run. But all of a sudden, we've got Cal Phipps way outside, but we got a run for second and third. On the outside is going to be Tom Thompson. He is sticking his nose out with J. Michael Kelly. They are going for points, and they are getting close.
Cal Phipps really lifted the Alberto back in 4th place in the rough water. The race here is going to be for 2nd place. Remember, we said Kelly had to get points. He really needs these 2nd place points. And believe me, Tom Thompson knows it. 2 up, 2 down, 1 to go. We are on lap number 3. Right now, the race is for 2nd place. And it is Tom Thompson on the outside trying to run down Kelly. But Kelly's got him by about a boat length as they get to the entrance pit of the corner, Kay.
And Tom Thompson's going to go way wide because he's trying to avoid the rough water that your leader, Andrew Tate, is bringing. J. Michael Kelly is taking advantage of it with the inside lane. He is going to walk away from Tom Thompson, but don't look, wait too long. Here comes Tom Thompson. He's going through the rooster tail. J. Michael Kelly, you have a half a lap to go. They're bringing him down. Brad Luce, I see the checkered flag.
Checkered flag is waiting top end of the race course. Andrew Tate has led this thing from the exit pin of turn 1 on lap 1. Tate's going to come down. He will look to his right. He will see the checkered flag. Now J. Michael Kelly with a gorgeous corner at the top end. He's going to come down in the Graham Trucking, and it's going to be J. Michael Kelly in 2nd place. Tom Thompson in 3rd place in some outstanding racing by Tom Thompson in the 11. Here comes Cal Phipps in the 1918. He will come by and take 4th place points. Holy smoke. Okay, Brewer, that was a good one.
That was a very interesting start. Like you said, we've never seen a start like that, but J. Michael Kelly fought his way through, but your leader is going down the backstretch and giving our logboom quite the little rundown. But here comes Cal Phipps immediately bringing it back in. They did have some problems with the boat earlier, so I have a feeling he's bringing it back in. He wants to be the first one to be put back onto the trailer so they can make adjustments and get ready for the next heat.
Wow. Well, first of all, let's talk about what we just saw. First of all, Seattle. If you have not seen H1 Unlimited hydroplane racing before, that's a sampling of what these boats can do. That is the show that we can bring to the water. That was 4 boats racing. We're going to have 7 out on the water.
If he's confident, I know why, because it really looked good yesterday and today.
Well, I want to thank the crane operator down there, first of all, because we were on the finger pier, and I look up, and the boat's right above me. So that was a big no-no. I think I'll do that, you know.
All right, let's give it to Brad Luce and Kay Brewer for the 5-minute.
gun. It's time to go racing. First one out on the course is going to be, looks to be Brian Perkins. Seafair thanks Albert Lee Appliance, proud sponsor of the Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup to start R2B is just a few minutes away. Seafair reminds you that for your safety and the safeties around you, everyone must be out of the water when the hydros are on the Ted Jones race course. Now it's time to go out on the water and enjoy the world's fastest race boats. Heat 2B is presented by Seafair and Graham Trucking.
All right, we have 4 minutes and 14 seconds until our start. All 4 of our boats are away from the dock. We've got 2 of them on the race course heading up the backstretch. We've got 2 more coming around the point at the north end of the Stan Sayers Memorial Pit area here. That would be the 99.9, the CarStar powered Miss Rock Aaron Salmon. That is the red and black boat. They are coming out on the course, and they will be followed by the bright orange U440, the Bucket List Racing, and Dustin Eccles. As they come out on the race course, they are going to see off to their left. They're going to see Brian Perkins, who decided he didn't want to pay him a visit, and instead Kay Brewery cut the race course and head over to the backside.
Yes, but Jimmy Shane's going to come straight down into turn number 1, and we're going to see for the first time, and he's taking a little bit of a late left-hand turn is Jimmy Shane. But out in the 440, the Bucket List, along with our rookie of the year 2018, is going to be Aaron Salmon in the 99. Like we said, this is the milling point, and they're allowed to cut the course, but once they have come across that start-finish line, it's all going to be fun watching them go into turn number 1.
Yeah, in this particular heat, I look for Jimmy to find some open water. I think he feels he's got this team covered. Find some open water, make sure he's clean at the start. Don't look for him to try and put his boat right on the line. I don't think he has to be that precise. Dustin Eccles, I would expect, will be on the outside. That's where he tends to run that smaller boat. So I would look for Jimmy Shane in this one to be fairly conservative here, although Mr. Perkins has shown a propensity to put his boat in lane 1 and at least try and run to the corner with Jimmy. It's a good way to measure him. Let's find out what you got. Put it on the inside and run him hard to turn 1.
I was going to say Brian Perkins might be the dark horse out here, and he might give it all of our fans a show, because the last 2 races that I've watched him, he is just flying that boat, and he is looking great. And they're going to come down the back stretch. In the lead, it looks like Brian Perkins is trying to establish lane number 1, and here comes Jimmy Shane. We'll have to see where he decides to put his bright blue Home Street boat.
Well, I think he's going to put it in lane 2 as we come up to 2 minutes. 2 minutes before the start. It is Heat 2B. It is presented by Graham Trucking. Inside 2 minutes now, the boats go up at the top end of the race course. That is Dustin Eccles up there first. He's going to stay way to the outside. Then you are going to have Brian Perkins in lane number 1, and I think you're going to see Jimmy Shane come in between the 2 boats. But he is still up at the top end of the race course. Now, careful, Aaron. Aaron's coming across the race course. Shane has had the boat on the course at the time, has the right of way versus any boat that might be cutting the course. I thought that might get a little close. It did not. 120 till the start, Kay. 120.
All right, we're going to be, it looks like Dustin Eccles in the 440 is going to be out in front, but here comes the Home Street boat, and he is all the way out in lane 3.
That's kind of what I thought. I'm not at all surprised to see him out in lane number 3. 2, 1, mark. 1 minute. 1 minute to the start. They'll come off the lower corner. It will be Brian Perkins in lane number 1. It's going to be Aaron Salmon in 2. It's going to be Shane in 3. And then on the far outside, it looks like it will be the Bucket List Racing and Dustin Eccles. Look for Shane to leave Aaron Salmon a lot of lane room.
You think he might? I don't think he will. We're going to teach this rookie how to get around a course. It's going to be pretty interesting. Don't shake your head at me, Brad Luce.
30 seconds to the start. Top end of the race course. Aaron Salmon has picked up and caught up to everybody. He is going to run this thing on an inside lane. He's going to be on the front row. It's the first time the young man has been in there. The orange boat you see on the outside, that is Dustin Eccles. He will go way wide as we're inside 15 seconds to the start. So we've got Perkins in 1, Salmon in 2, Shane in 3, and we are 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark, and forget everything I said about Jimmy Shane. It is Heat 2B. It's presented by Graham Trucking. Shane nails the start, and he gets down here with a lead, but he's out in lane 3, Kay.
Exactly, and I told you Brian Perkins was going to hold lane 1. We are going to put the rookie right into the wall of water, and it's going to be Aaron Salmon in lane number 2. But out on the outside is that bright blue Home Street boat of Jimmy Shane as they come down the backstretch going into turn number 2, lap 1.
Darrell Strong presents Payne West Insurance, running strong on the inside with Brian Perkins. It's a good start. Everybody was legal. This is a terrific opportunity for Perkins to measure himself against Jimmy Shane. Shane, as we thought, goes way wide out there, leaving plenty of lane space in between he and Brian Perkins for the young rookie to have a run in there. Shane comes down with 1 in the books, staying out wide, and that is allowing Mr. Perkins to make up a little bit of ground on the inside.
I told you that dark horse was going to come out of Brian Perkins, because you could tell Jimmy Shane is floating that boat. He is working everything he can to try and keep Perkins in his rearview mirror, but Perkins keeps on jumping in on his inside hip. But we've got your leader coming down the back stretch. It's going to be the Home Street boat of Jimmy Shane, and in second place is going to be Brian Perkins of the Payne West Insurance, but third place is going to be that 99.9. And Brad, check out the Rooster Tails and how high they're getting going into turn number 2.
Top end of the race course. Jimmy Shane again going to swing out way wide, playing this one pretty conservative. Look at Brian Perkins. He's been living in lane 1 since we got here and they backed the boat in on Thursday. He's been in lane 1 all weekend long. 2 up, 2 down, 1 to go for the brand new boat, courtesy of Home Street Bank. He's going to come down here, not quite a full rooster tail on Mr. Perkins, and he comes into the lower corner, still getting that terrific boat ride, Kay.
He is, and like we said, this water gets rough, and you can see the sponsons on Jimmy Shane. Left sponson smacking, right sponson smacking, and he is working that boat to keep Brian in his back shoes. That is valuable points that Jimmy Shane needs to get himself to the top podium. We are looking at National High Point champion maybe for 5 years straight, but they're coming down for the checkered flag, and it is Jimmy Shane, but he has got somebody on his right side hip.
Perkins trying to make up some ground on the inside. He's going to tighten it up a little bit. Tighten up the lead with Jimmy Shane. I still think Shane's got him. He maintains the boat speed. He'll come off on about lane number 4, and it's going to be Jimmy Shane driving the 1. The Home Street, blue Home Street Bank. They will come home victorious, but in his mirrors and in his rooster tail, a nice run for the Darrell Strong presents Payne West Insurance. Brian Perkins, the U21, he will take a second place finish. Another third place finish for the rookie, the U99.9 Carstar powered Miss Rock, driven by Aaron Salmon. And Dustin Eccles comes off the top end of the race course in the Bucket List Racing. He will come down and pick up 4th place points. And it is so important that these guys get points every single time they run. They ran 4 times in preliminaries over in the Tri-Cities because of the different race format. This little orange boat started all 4 of them. The little orange boat finished all 4 of them. And thus, by the simple cause of consistency, found their way on the front row in the final. That's how you can get there. Then you got guys like J. Michael Kelly. Yeah, well, they didn't get any points yesterday, and so that's a tough 8-ball to get out from behind, but they picked up 300. So good racing. And our Heat 2B was presented by Graham Trucking. Unofficial finish order was Jimmy Shane in the U1 Miss Home Street. Second place went to the U21. The Darrell Strong presents Payne West Insurance, Brian Perkins. Third place went to the U99.9 Carstar powered Miss Rock, Aaron
just went off. So they don't call it the 10 in boat racing. They call it the 5 to the 5.
That's right.
So in 5 minutes, we're going to toss it off to our play-by-play announcers, Kay Brewer and Brad Luce, for the call of 3A. But until then, we can talk about how exciting this has been. And it's going to get more exciting because these guys sometimes in preliminary heats, yesterday and this morning's heats, are testing their boat and making sure, you know, kind of testing the competition and seeing how hard they have to run and who's fighting really hard to get an inside lane and who's decided they're going to take it easy. Well, now it gets just like anybody who's competitive. You can't hold yourself back. Yep. So yet in this heat, 3A, maybe Andrew Tate could hold himself back, but being a competitor, I kind of doubt he will, because he's up against Jimmy Shane, J. Michael Kelly, and Tom Thompson. So those 4 drivers, and they're driving the Les Schwab, the Home Street, the Graham Trucking, and the J&Ds. They all want to win for different reasons or race hard for different reasons. And like I said, Andrew Tate, he's leading. You know, he's got a lot of points. So does Jimmy Shane. But up against each other, they want to get national points for the whole year. And the racing is halfway done today with the season. This is the halfway point.
Right. But what would you do as Jimmy Shane then? What do you think is going through his head in terms of the boat, because it's been performing excellent?
Yeah.
He definitely doesn't want to damage anything at this point.
No.
He's most likely going to be in the final without a damage or something like that. What do you think is going through his mind?
Well, he doesn't want to take any chances with the boat, you're right, but he does want to test his mettle against Andrew Tate and see how if he can maybe win on the outside, because he's going to need to know that in the final heat, and this is his only chance that they've gone up against each other here at Seafair. They didn't meet each other in Heat 1 or Heat 2, so here we are in 3A. They are going to be side to side, and so the 5 minutes beforehand, he may change his mind deciding on how hard Andrew Tate presses the matter, and not to mention J. Michael Kelly, who is going to be pressing harder than either of those two, probably for the inside lane. But like you said, they want to both Jimmy Shane and Andrew Tate want to know how the other guy is really thinking and working toward the final. So they want to keep an eye on each other, and a lot of that is going to depend. So I can't tell you right now what his motive and his ideas are, because it may change during the 5-minute gun, and depending on what his spotter also tells him, saying, let him go, or you got a chance to get in there, and so he may go for it.
That's an excellent point. You forget about that the spotters are there, they're relaying, they're communicating, they're letting him know their position on the field with relation to the starting point, and of course during the race. So things can change midstream, so to speak.
Yeah, and also anything can happen during this score-up period. People can get penalties for going under 80 miles an hour. You can get penalized. You can get a warning. First, you get a warning or two. Or if you go through an illegal place where one of the patrol boats is, because they have areas that are like DMZs. You may not drive here, period, in to report for no reason, for the safety of the patrol and referee boats out there. And cutting somebody off can happen. So before the race even starts, a penalty may happen, and that does sometimes happen in boat racing, and that lets a competitor know, hey, the so-and-so is out of it. Take your time. Take it easy.
Right. Correct. And, I don't know if this means much, but it looks like some of the umbrellas now are coming away from the cockpits. That's how they keep... Here is going to be J. Michael Kelly. I'm really going to be watching that particular boat.
Yeah, I am going to watch that too. So we're at the 5-minute gun. We're going to hand it off to our play-by-play for Brad Luce and Kay Brewer.
Your 5-minute gun, and it is now time to go boat racing. Here's what you'll be seeing in Heat 3A, presented by Seafair and Graham Trucking. In the bright blue Home Street boat, Jimmy Shane. In the white boat of number 9, Les Schwab Tires, Andrew Tate. In that bright yellow boat, Tom Thompson, the 11, Reliable Diamond Tool, and J&D's. And in the red boat, desperately needing points, J. Michael Kelly in the number 12. Seafair thanks Albert Lee Appliance, proud sponsor of Albert Lee Appliance Seafair Cup. This start of Heat 3A is just a few minutes away. Seafair reminds you that for the safety of you and the ones around you, everyone must be out of the water when the hydros are on the Ted Jones race course. Now, it's time to get out on the water and enjoy the world's fastest race boats. Heat 3A, presented by Seafair and Graham Trucking. Let's get rolling with these boats, Brad.
Thank you very much, Kay Brewer. 3 minutes and 35 seconds to the start. Now 3:30. Our 4 boats who are trying to answer the bell here all answered it immediately. The first boat away from the dock was Tom Thompson, and the U11 Reliable Diamond Tool presents J&D's. He was followed almost immediately by J. Michael Kelly, and then Andrew Tate in the Les Schwab tire, and Jimmy Shane and the Miss Home Street came out 3 and 4 and almost side by side. Now, as they come down to the lower corner here with still 3 minutes before the start, I was going to say Kelly's in lane 1, but there goes Tate, going to jump over to the backstretch. When Kelly comes out of the corner, Tom Anderson, his crew chief, will tell him that's Andrew Tate you see right in front of you. Meanwhile, Jimmy Shane staying out of the fray a little bit, Kay. He's coming down here nice and slow on the front chute.
Each driver comes out onto the water with a game plan. Jimmy Shane is going to take her slow, coming around into turn number 1. As you saw, Andrew Tate went inside of the course, and we are going to have a battle looking like Tom Thompson's going to try and come around Andrew Tate and possibly try and take back that lane number 1. But we're going to have to see. We still have just over 2 minutes and 25 seconds to the start of Heat 3A, Brad.
Yeah, up the backstretch there, Andrew Tate cut the course and came to the front stretch, and Tom Thompson came with him. Now Tate cuts it again and goes from front to the backstretch. Tom Thompson goes with him again. Kelly went all the way up to the top end of the course. Now Tate is on the backstretch, and his crew chief is telling him that rooster tail you see right in front of you, that is Jimmy Shane. Now, this time, it's Kelly coming down here all by himself. He'll drop the hook. He will go over to the backstretch with 150 until the start. This is going to be Tom Thompson is going to come across here, and he's going to put himself in lane number 1. And I think his timing will be okay. And Kelly, I don't think he can get over here fast enough. Now he's got to be really careful here. J. Michael Kelly's got to be careful. Oh. And he slides through, but that was a good maneuver. And I'll tell you what, he is outside Tom Thompson, but he's inside Jimmy Shane, and on the far outside, Andrew Tate.
But J. Michael Kelly might have put his own fire out by going through the rooster tail of Tom Thompson. His game plan has completely changed now because the rest of the fleet is taking off for the start. J. Michael Kelly is still back on turn number 2, way back.
Here comes Kelly. He's back up and running now, but he's lost that position he had on the race course. So J. Michael Kelly, who desperately needs points here, he's okay time-wise, but he hasn't got a lane. He's going to have to run these guys down on the far outside. That made a tall order even taller. 45 seconds until the start. It is Tom Thompson, however, Kay. He is in lane 1. Shane's in 2. Tate's in 3. Kelly's going to go on the outside, take him up to the top end of the course.
You just said that J. Michael Kelly's got a tall order B, but look what he's doing. He may be trying to do a slingshot, but another thing about J. Michael Kelly, that boat is fast and that driver is smart. He has something up his sleeve because check out what he's doing. Full speed already, J. Michael Kelly, while the rest of the fleet is still lower in speed. J. Michael Kelly doing a slingshot maneuver, just as I called it.
We are inside 10 seconds. We are coming down to our start. We are 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark, and we'll find out if the start is legal. It looked like it was close. It's going to be Shane and JMK going to get down here first. Kelly's down here first, but he's on the far outside with a big course, Kay.
And it looks like Andrew Tate stuck straight in the middle. All he can see is water on the left, water on the right. And it looks to be like Jimmy Shane is taking over the lead, but we have got a 3-boat race. chasing down the home street. They are burning up engines and burning up gearboxes trying to chase down the home street, Brad.
Top end of the course up here as they go, and it is a good start. It was a legal start. Shane with about 4 boat lengths on Tate, and then right outside of Tate is JMK. Keep an eye on Tom Thompson. He's got the shortest way around the race course. There's Tate. There's Kelly. Oh, this is a good one. Shane showing us that new boat's got a lot of boat speed, but we got him coming 4 wide down here. Shane opened up a rooster tail now, but look at Kelly. He is hanging with Tate, albeit on the outside. Kelly desperately needs those second place points, Gay.
But Andrew Tate, he is taking over lane number 3, and he's shoving J. Michael Kelly way wide and giving Tom Thompson the inside advantage. Cleanest water, fastest way around the course. Andrew Tate is now punching it into high gear, going after Jimmy Shane, because these two, like we've been talking about, are battling it out for points, and J. Michael Kelly is dropping back quickly.
Yeah, the best friend that on the race course for Tom Thompson right now is Andrew Tate, because you're exactly right. He is shoving JMK way out. I think he's probably given up trying to run down Jimmy Shane, and so Tate knows he can eliminate J. Michael Kelly from the Albert Lee Appliance Cup at Seafair by keeping him in 4th place, and right now he's off the pace. But look at Tom Thompson. Tate might have been a little bit too concerned with Kelly. Thompson has got lane position and a strong set of speed coming down to the lower corner against Tate.
And they are dancing their way through that turn number 2, because these two boats, Tom Thompson and Andrew Tate, are battling it out for the 2nd place position. This is huge points, and it looks like Andrew Tate is dropping back, and we almost just lost Tom Thompson in the backstretch. He floated that thing way too high, Brad.
How Tom brought that boat back down. You don't see a boat get up that high very often and come back down. Now we have the same situation we had before, and now the best friend of Tom Thompson is Jimmy Shane, because he's making Tate run a bigger race course. And believe me, his crew is telling him what's going on. They're telling him push Tate out wide, because there's a good chance that Thompson could hang on here. But Tate driving the daylights out of the Les Schwab. He pulls dead even with the Thompson at the entrance pit of the corner. This is lap number 3.
And that was a checkered flag, and they have rocked this heat. Your winner, Home Street, in the bright blue number 1. But that was a photo finish between Tom Thompson and Andrew Tate. That was an amazing heat. I have goosebumps from that, Brad.
Well, we proved yesterday I can't count down. We've apparently proved today I can't count up. Maybe it was just wishful thinking. I didn't want that one to come to an end, but our unofficial order of finish is U1, Jimmy Shane driving the Miss Home Street. 2nd place to the U11, Reliable Diamond Tool presents J&Ds with Tom Thompson. He held off Andrew Tate and the Les Schwab Tires, the U9, who comes in 3rd, and 4th place to our boat coming back to the pit area right now, the U12, Graham Trucking and J. Michael Kelly.
Well, Brad, I will tell you that that was such an exciting heat that you wanted it to go 1 extra lap. That's what it was. But all of the years of me racing hydroplanes, my father always tells me, watch the flags, and that is what I did. I watched the checkered flag, and that thing was moving for Jimmy Shane in that brand new Home Street boat. You know, it was a tough break for J. Michael Kelly and the Graham Trucking, but we still have 1 more heat to go, so things could still be changing up with
And I'm scared to live.
you.